if it's a pattern I realize throughout my life through, spontaneous moments, one of them is speaking to a younger age group because, as most kids are, they're more, what's it called, happy. They literally get around in the simplest way possible. They don't know the harsh realities of life. But there's something I just realized going on when I'm talking to these kids that are younger than me, just like a few years ago, like I would always have these random kids, especially when I would go for some reason on vacation. If not vacation, sometimes I would go like to the pool, right? And then these kids younger than me, oh my god, they would kind of just come up to me because they had no care in the world. It was a place of playing with anyone. It didn't even matter. And maybe I was more older than them, but for some reason it just felt so comforting to see someone with a light in their eyes, right, just come up to me, swim up to me, and just say, hey, you want to play with us or something. And they were like having these spontaneous moments where they're just throwing around their pool toys and whatnot. And I'm like, okay. And then I start doing this whole babysit play fight type stuff. Like I wouldn't like fight them, but yeah. But also, it's the same concept. When I would always go to like relatives parties, right, I would always see kids just having the time of their life. I would be that one person, like, because me, I still feel like I need to grow up in some way, but that doesn't mean you can't stop having fun with kids. But that's the point. I think my comfort comes from talking to people who are in the younger age range because, yeah, let me get into the story where I would go to relatives' birthday parties, younger kids' birthday parties, and I would always be the one who would be in those like bouncy houses or something. And I was always like play fight with the boys, especially the younger boys, not like harshly, but just like for fun. And I just really think with kids I really need to kind of just place my mind in the way they're being, right? Because with kids, they don't care who you are. They don't make this whole conflict like high school drama. There needs to be more people like that. But then I also question with the older age ranges, right, with everything that's so difficult and complicating the way social hierarchies are, there's more of a placement here. There's more cliques, especially in high school. And some people, they act like they're still trying to place people in this certain hierarchy, and there's only a social structure for that. And it doesn't feel like no one can be a kid there. And obviously you have to present yourself maturely, but I'm not saying you can't be you know playful and joking, right? But I always wonder why it's always this pattern with the young kids, and it makes sense. But maybe I need to just reflect the energy back with other people and be that person who kind of has this, what's it called, this childish mindset. Obviously being childish, the way it's perceived is kind of questionable, because when you're younger and you believe that you can be an astronaut, a doctor, this firefighter, because it's the heroic thing. Like, are you going to be that heroic person? We think so ideally, like idealistically, compared to like the realism that most adults have. And I really want to like cherish a part of the idealistic part of it, because sometimes that actually can be realistic, because seeing things in positivity, seeing things in optimism is the way to go about life, because it just manifests, it just reflects in reality, and you're able to do things out of the spot. I remember also another moment in which I'm seizing was in high school, just like 2 years ago. It's crazy. I feel like I was much more unpredictable, much more random, and things were so sporadic considering the social environment. I used to be friends with this one guy. We're not close now, but a special part that was kind of cool with our friendship, he introduced me to this one rapper. His name is NF. Um, his initials, NF, stand for Nathan Feuerstein. You guys should really listen to that. So he introduced me to NF, right? And when I listened to him, it didn't listen like the genre and most rappers were, because, well, it's the same genre, right? But he sounded like the outcasts of hip hop. And that's what NF kind of describes himself as, because you know how most people in hip hop or rap, they kind of cuss around, or they say very inappropriate stuff, or they seem like they're writing about, they're kind of, what's it called, um they're disrespecting women in some way. That's what I'm trying to say. But in any case, you know, it's not even just that. Compared to most rappers, he would put a lot of poetry skills into that, and he would actually speak so many volumes of emotions that I was facing too. And I would listen to that daily, daily, daily because I related to it so deeply. And then that kind of encouraged me to listen to certain rappers more so in like 1990s and 80s, like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, a little bit of NWA. And yeah, they're completely different from NF, but they're still, you know, I still got into the phase of which rap was like, you know, kind of peak in my opinion. But in any case, aside from just my love for rap, you know, what happened was that I believed maybe, you know, I started singing along to the lyrics. I started rapping, practicing the rap of NF that his song had or whatnot, the lyrics. And I believed that I can make up my own freestyles. Maybe I could start producing some sort of music. Obviously, I didn't make any music after that. I just practiced rapping and freestyling. And this interest also took me to another like certain connection or friendship that I had was with an English teacher in my junior year of high school. That is when I connected with an English teacher who also liked rap and freestyle. He would always like do music production because there was another teacher in our school. He was a PE teacher, but he was friends with that English teacher. And he was like, oh, you should, yeah, I was trying to rap one day. And then I think he just came up to me and like, hey, you should start rapping. And he would also have karaoke club. And I karaoke'd one of NF's songs, Let You Down. And I felt so confident in myself with that spontaneous action that I took. It felt like I was alive. It felt like I was this kid believing in so many things, believing if I can freestyle and have the confidence, what if I become this famous rapper? Yo. And I kind of had a phase, and we were having like performances for our school, and we could just go up stage and sing whatever we want. We could do a karaoke. And what do you think I did? You know, I actually took the chance to karaoke, and I'll show you actual images of me singing for one of NF's songs, Let You Down. And I tried to like fit his outfit because he was wearing, it was, the outfit theme that I had was for his album Hope, but it didn't fit like the song that was on there because that's a different album. But enough of that, you know what I mean, right? I was being spontaneous. I was singing my heart out, and I was rapping the words very smoothly, and I didn't care. Everyone was watching me. That was the first time I actually performed voluntarily for myself on the spot. I didn't have any sort of schedule planned, but I just did it, you know, and I didn't care. I was happy. And I really hope I could feel that sort of sense of, I don't know, I wish I could live that way again, you know, having this form of, okay, I got to take this moment, feel the thrill, because why would I want to escape that moment of thrill? You know, I need another life. I need another moment where I'm focusing so hard on the present. And that is what I want to do. That is what I'm looking for. I'm not going to say that even though things are repeat right now, I'm really hoping that I can live with this ideal mindset that something is really going to work out, and I'm actually going to be living my life the way I want to, and I'm going to feel alive, you know? I feel like a kid. And even though I don't believe, even though I'm not going to really carry on the path of a rapper right now, I'm not really going to take it as a career because I don't really see it as a career, even though, hey, I had that belief once. I maybe might start actually freestyling. I don't know, not right now, because yeah, I just don't feel like it. I know it kind of contradicts what I'm saying in this video, but that reminded me that I need to carry on that same energy with other things in my life, not just with rap. But having confidence is really a skill you have to build up. And I'm hoping that it comes out of me just taking the chance there and then, because when you take a chance, when you take that risk, you know, not taking that risk is a bigger risk. And sometimes you just have to have this positive outlook like a kid to make it as an adult. It sounds crazy, but hey, maybe it might work, guys.